So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. I know this is a little late, but I had some things come up as I was doing it, and this is a very tough problem to do, and I had to submit it a few times. I even had my accountant wife help me out a little bit. She was a big help to me. So here's the information that we have. We have sales, purchases, and salaries, administrative expenses, and selling expenses for January and February. Also note that there is sales and purchases on account, budget collections, and disbursement data are given below. Other expenses are paid in month incurred except for administrative expenses, which include $1,000 of depreciation per month. We're going to come back to that. So we start with our beginning cash balance. We read here that the expected cash balance is to be $47,000, so we put that for our input. And get rid of the calculator here. And then for February, they want a cash balance of about $55,410. That's the goal. They want to maintain a minimum cash balance. So we're going to start with January, and we're going to add cash receipts. And so we go through and do collections from customers for $331,800. This is right up here in January. And then the next thing that we were supposed to input is sale of securities. And that's what the book says, but we don't have any sales of securities in January, but there is some for February, right over here for $5,400. So I would input that over there. And then notes receivable we did have for $18,000, which was up here. And then we're going to total the receipts. So $331,800 plus $18,000 will give us $349,800. And then total available cash, we'll add in our beginning cash balance of $47,000 plus $349,800 to give us our $396,800. And then on the next part of the statement, or the cash budget, we're supposed to do less cash disbursements. And so the first thing that the book says is inventory, but we don't have any inventory that I could find in information up here. So the next thing that they have is salaries, which was $84,200, which was up here, $84,200, and put it down here. And then selling expenses for $78,100. Now those selling expenses are up here. And then the next thing that the book says that we need to put in there is administrative expenses. You see this number right here, $69,900. So the original number is administrative expenses $70,900. First, I tried the $1,000 depreciation. I added it in there, and that was wrong. And then I just put the $70,900, and that was wrong. So I decided that I needed to actually take 1,000 from the $70,900, and sure enough, that's what it was. So that's why I had to submit it, just so we know we get it right. So then purchases as well. So purchases, oh, I hit the wrong button. Buzzer. There we go. So purchases we see up here, and so I input that number in there, and that was wrong. But we see down here in January, there's 106,000 for 100. So this is the actual payment for purchases. So we input that 106,100 for January down here. And the next thing that we input for is what they say. The book says like purchase of truck, income tax expense, things of that nature. And the only thing I could find was dividends, because they give us some information for the dividend. on the number 4 for other disbursements, which is only for February for 12,700. So we put 0 for dividends and we carry that 12,700 over into February. So then we take the total of these numbers from 84,200 and add those all up, and we get a total disbursements of 338,300. See these little lines right here? You know that there's some kind of calculation involved to get to that number. So we go down to the next line, and the next thing in the book it says excess deficiency of available cash over disbursements. So we take this number and let's see, and then we subtract total available cash from up here minus the 338,300, and that gives us 58,500. So then we go into the financing activities, and which consists of borrowing and repayments. But we don't. Our goal was 55,410, and we have a balance, an ending balance of 58,500. So we don't need to borrow any money. So I put zeros in for payments, and that was our cash ending balance of 58,500, which we then carry back over to February and input it here. And we go through collection of the customers, which was up here for 378,100. And then we input sales securities, which is over here for 5,400. And since there was no notes receivable for February, we put 0. And then the total receipts, we add 378 plus 5,400, and that'll give us 383,500. So then we have total available cash by taking 383,500 plus 58,500, which gives us 442,000. And then we go to our cash disbursements, salaries, and the salaries for February was 81,600. And then we go to our selling expenses, which were 86,000, which were up here, 86,000. And then the next thing was the tricky one, the administrative expenses. So administrative expenses was 73,000, but then we need to depreciate it for $1,000, so it'll be 72,000. Down here we put 72,000. And purchases were 141,100, which were way up here, 140,100. And put that in. And then dividends, which were 12,000. Let's see, where is it at? There it is. 12,700 for a cash dividend in February. And then we total the disbursements. And if you want me to go through that with you, I can. I'm trying to not do the calculator because it takes up so much time. But 81,600 just to be sure, plus 86,000, plus 72,000, plus 141,100, plus 12,700. So 393,400. That looks right. And then we take the total available cash, 442,000 minus the 393,400, and that'll give us an excess of available cash or disbursements of 48,600. Now our ultimate goal was 55,410. And so we put that down for our ending balance, and the difference between 55,410 and 48,600 is let's see, 55,410 minus, oops, 48,600 is 6,810. So we borrowed that amount to get us back up to 55,410, and then there's no repayments for this month. So that is my tutorial. If you have any questions, I know it was kind of long, but hopefully this will help you, because it was very confusing for me and it took me all the tries to get through. So hopefully this helps a lot. All right, thanks.